All right. We're not live yet. Ah, there we are. Cool. All right, guys. Candace here. Today we are talking about financial tips with my friend Franzi. So I'm going to wait until this live pops up in my... Oh, gosh, that was really fast. Okay, so it's already in my photography group. So I'm going to go ahead and share it really quick, and then I'm going to give you some background information about how Franzi and I know each other. And she's going to talk to you guys about some awesome financial tips today, which I think are like right on time with everything that we've got going on. So I'm going to share this really quick. Just bear with me. I tell you guys every time what I'm doing here. Woo! One day I'll get faster at this, I promise. All right, here we go. Boom, done. Okay, so as I always mention, I can see everybody's comments. So if you have questions as we're going through this live, please feel free to comment and ask all of your questions. I know that Franzi would love to answer them. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background info about us. So Franzi and I started working together, how long has it been now? A year and a half?
Yeah.
Okay. So Franzi and I started working together. She is a fellow photographer, but also has a passion for like everything financial, which I just learned a few months ago, and she's freaking brilliant when it comes to this stuff, which I'm so excited about. So she's going to share with you today just some financial tips, and I also posted a link in the description of this live so you can pop into her group so you can learn all the wonderful things that she has to teach about everything financial. So, Franzi, I'm actually going to turn it over to you. I'll let you know if we end up having any comments or questions in the group.
Perfect.
So tell everybody about like who you are, what you do, and what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome. So, hey there. As Candace said, I am Franzi. I am a money coach and the CEO of All In Finances. I am one part of the Currys. My handsome husband makes up the other half. He's better looking than I. And we are debt-free other than our mortgage. So together we were able to pay off $72,000 in 29 months, all while still paying our regular household bills. So we've been able to fully fund our 6-month emergency fund, a 3-week trip to Europe, and so much more. But it hasn't always been like this. So my husband and I got married in 2013, and we quickly realized the stress and pressure of being a newly married couple. We had done all the things that a couple was supposed to do, including having that elaborate wedding and honeymoon, buying a home, car loans, tuition for college degrees, and just really, honestly, living above our means. Unfortunately and fortunately, we quickly realized that we needed a different path for our marriage. We knew that the number 2 leading cause for divorce is financial stress. And we have seen firsthand that it can get ugly quickly and change a relationship. So we went from being lovebirds on our honeymoon to losing one of our incomes completely within 30 days. Yeah. At the time, that income made up half of our household income. So talk about panic, anxiety, stress, and fear. It took about 8 months to find a new job to semi-replace the income that we lost. We went through the most challenging time in our marriage, again, all within like 6 months of being married, which is supposed to be the happiest time of your life. We quickly learned what was important: mortgage, utilities, and food. And what wasn't important, such as eating out and entertainment, which sucks as a newlywed. We became hermits, let's be real. We realized that we never wanted to be in that situation ever again. So we took control of our life and our future, and we attended a Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, and it changed our lives. I actually have the book here for anyone that's interested. Dave Ramsey? I think that's backwards, but anyways. The course created a space for my husband and I to communicate about finances, which is key and like number 1. We were able to get on the same page and work together towards the same goal. And like I said, since attending Dave Ramsey, we've done $72,000 in debt which was credit cards, student loans, car loans, and our
That's
wedding. All the
amazing.
things that typical Americans purchase. We've been able to fund, like I said, a 6-month emergency fund. We went to Europe for 3 weeks. We max out our health savings account every year. We max out our retirement contribution every year, and so much more. So I say all of this not to gloat, but to simply share what is possible. Now, I realize that many of you are currently probably experiencing what we experienced when we lost one of our incomes. We are currently experiencing an epidemic unlike anything that we have ever seen. There is a lot of uncertainty in areas that are completely out of our control. You could have been employed on Monday, working, and after the press release, be deemed as not essential and be off work right now without pay.
Yep.
That's how quickly it can happen. Today, I wanted to share five ways to help you weather the storm personally, and then I also have some for those business owners. So I realize that everyone is at a different stage in their financial adventure, but I would suggest in this current time that you aren't able to make massive changes in your financial structure, but you can do whatever it takes to maintain the 4 walls, which are the necessities to focus on in your home, to include food, shelter, transportation, and utilities. These are the basics to survive. This is what's important for you and your family. So I will say, if you are able to continue making your minimum debt payments, that's wonderful. If you're still working and you have that money coming in, please do continue to make those debt payments. However, if you aren't, then please contact your creditors and let them know so that they can offer you assistance. It may be in the form of payment deferment for 30 to 60 days, but please know you will continue to earn interest on your balances during that 30 to 60 days, but it will not negatively affect your credit score.
What?
So,
what?
Nope.
Hold up. What? I didn't know that was even an option.
Yeah, if you call them and let them know that you've had some sort of crisis, such as the epidemic, or if someone loses income in the household, you just have to call and let them know. You may have to open a case, but you can simply let them know that you've got this situation going on, and they will push your payment 30 to 60, and maybe even longer, depending on if the governor or the president makes some rules. But it allows you to push payments out.
Wow.
Like I said, you're still going to earn interest on your balance during this time, but it will just add that payment towards like the end of your loan. So if you were scheduled to have a loan paid off by the end of this year, your final payment wouldn't be in December. It would just be moved to like January.
Right.
So,
That's
but again, it doesn't affect your credit score. It doesn't hurt you. You don't get dinged for not making that payment. But I will say, please don't wait until your due date to call, but rather call ASAP. Let them know what's going on and let them be able to help you. They're all very aware of the coronavirus and the effect that it's having on people. And I think like student loan interest is currently not being charged. There's lots of things being put into place because we realize this is affecting everyone in the United States. So on the other hand, like I said, if you are able to pay the minimum debt payments in the 4 walls, so beyond those, I would keep any additional funds available because there is so much uncertainty going on right now. As you go through the next few weeks, consider the items that you're purchasing and if they are a necessity or a luxury. Only purchase necessities and attempt to not accrue more debt. I get it. We're all in a tough situation right now. And maybe that means putting groceries on a credit card. But if at all possible, try to simply use the cash that you have on hand and not make your debt situation worse during this epidemic. So once everything settles, those that are out of work can go back and begin to make debt payments because they're getting paid again. You can catch yourself back up. But after everything settles, I want you to do an evaluation on how you felt during this epidemic. How you reacted to the uncertainty. Were you stressed, anxious, fearful? Were you worried about how you were going to purchase groceries or pay your bills? And maybe, are you still stressed? If you want better for yourself for the next time uncertainty comes, then I would suggest joining the All In Finances with Franzi Curry Facebook group. Candace has provided a link in the comments. But follow along in this group and keep an eye out for my educational course, which is coming. I realize this epidemic is unlike anything we've seen before. But however, next time it could be that you or your partner get laid off from work, a family member gets ill and you want to be able to take care of them, or you end up in a severe car accident and you're unable to work, or you have a baby and want to spend some more time at home with your little one.
Yeah.
No matter the situation or reason, you want to ensure that you are protecting yourself and your family as much as possible from outside sources so they can't harm your financial health. So I take people from living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, to living a financially healthy life, being debt-free with an emergency fund for instances just like this, and saving for future purchases. I do this so during times of uncertainty, such as this one, your only fear should be if you can get groceries at the grocery store and not how you'll be able to pay for them.
Yeah.
So to recap, for your personal, number one, you need to take care of the 4 walls: home, food, utilities, and transportation. Number 2, make minimum debt payments if you're able, or call your creditors for deferment ASAP. Number 3, save any additional funds for necessary purchases and not luxury purchases. Be really hard on yourself and question what your purchases are. Number 4, once things settle, hopefully in the next 30 days, go back, make your debt payments, and evaluate how you felt during this uncertainty. Really analyze the emotions and feelings that you had right now. Journal them out just so that you can reflect back on them. And number 5 is join the All In Finances with Franzi Curry Facebook group for support and educational course to improve your current financial health. So those are my tips for personal. I have a few tips for business. They're similar because obviously like personal right now, don't take this the wrong way, is more important. Your family comes first. Business does come second. However, I realize that that is a source of income for many, so it is as important, but we love our kiddos.
Okay.
So for business, the same thing applies. I would recommend to first save as much cash as you can to continue cash flowing your business. Number 2 is get super creative on ways to bring in revenue during this time, or even prepare yourself for when you can get out of your house. Number 3 is review your current expenses. Review the things that you are currently spending money on: subscriptions, licenses, education, the works. If you're not using them, cancel them. If you can, pause them. If you are not able to utilize all the things that you're spending money on right now, you're just letting money leave your account for no reason whatsoever. So review those, pause or cancel them, and help keep that money in your account for cash flow. What are we on? Number 4, work on other areas that may not be revenue right now, but will offer additional value to your current clients for future referral generation, and maybe improve your systems and workflow and experience as a whole so that your current clients love you all that much more.
Yep.
So all the things that you have always said, I wish I had time for, guess what? Now's the time.
Yeah.
So I hope those helped.
That was incredible. And I'll tell you, man, I know that when all of this started happening, I had to really sit back and say, okay, like what really are the things that I have right now that I do not need? Like what is coming out of my account that doesn't need to come out of my account? And I'll tell you, a crisis situation like this will make you really look at things so much differently. Like, do I really need to be spending $70 a month on Infinitely Loft? I want to, but I don't need to. So I love Infinitely Loft, but I did end up canceling my subscription, and not necessarily because, you know, I'm in a financial situation right this second where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have to have as much money as I can. But this whole thing really had me change my perspective and what are the needs that I have in my life. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that this was like really a big wake up call for a lot of people. Not necessarily, like there are tons of people that have lost their jobs, and They have to cancel all of these things. Like they don't have the money and they don't know how they're going to put food on the table. But I think for other people, it was like a good wake up call. Like, hey, wait a second. I need to like pump the brakes a little bit and think about like what I'm really spending my money on. Now, on the flip side of that, obviously we need money going out and coming in like to keep the economy going. So, there is definitely a delicate dance there, but there are certainly things that we don't need to be
Correct.
spending our money on. And maybe it's even a subscription to something that, like you said, you haven't used in a million years, but you've just been too lazy to send the email to cancel it, or you haven't been paying attention in your bank account to see the $5 a month coming out. I mean, that's $60 a year. I mean, you know what I mean? So you don't know what I mean because you're the one telling me about it. So I think that is fantastic, fantastic advice. And really breaking it down by like, yes, these are the 4 essential things that you have to spend your money on. Anything outside of that is secondary. You got to survive. Yep. So I think that was fantastic.
Good. I'm glad I could share.
Yeah, no, it was great. And I'll say too, just to kind of piggyback on what you said about, your business and being creative about other ways to bring in revenue. I will say that, when all this first started and people were losing their jobs and restaurants were closing, as I was scrolling through Facebook, I certainly saw like Facebook ads for certain things. And, people were saying, how could you possibly try to sell anything during this time? And to that, I'm going to say that there are still people out there that need what it is that you offer. So don't feel guilty about helping other people and charging for it. Now, there is a difference between making money during a pandemic and making money because of a pandemic. I would not encourage you to go buy pallets of toilet paper and sell them for $25 a roll. I would say that's, well, it's actually illegal. I can't price gouge, but you get the point. You get the point. Like, there are definitely still going to be people that want your services and need your services, and that are going to want to take advantage of, not in a bad way, but take advantage of some type of deal that you're offering right now that maybe they wouldn't have booked with you otherwise. So, as an example, one of my photography friends, she had posted on her Instagram page and she posted in her Facebook group that she needed to keep the doors open. And in order to do that, she was offering future sessions at 20% off and sold a ton of them. And now she can keep her doors open and keep her business moving. And guess what? She's got money to be able to continue serving her clients. And then she's got people that are absolutely thrilled that they were able to get 20% off of one of her sessions. So it was a win-win for both of them. So don't feel like because we are in this situation that we're in that you can't continue to make money and to put food on the table and to keep a roof over your head. You have to. So definitely come up with creative ways to be able to do that. And then also, like Franzi said, improve your systems and create a better experience for your clients. And that will serve you well in the future too. So I think all of these were wonderful tips. This was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, there's definitely little things that like photographers can do, such as offering like a discount on prints for past wedding couples and just sending them an email, or creating that banner that goes on top of their gallery. You could even say, I'm offering 20% off of album designs. You have the time to design them. They have the time to go through and pick out their images. So why not offer a little bit of a discount? You're still making a sale. You're still staying busy. Your business is still working. There's definitely ways to go around it and not be salesy. Right. There's definitely ways to go around it that it's just like, I'm here to help you if you need anything, or whatever the case may be. I mean, there's lots of options.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that too, it's refreshing to get an email or some type of correspondence from anybody that does not mention the coronavirus. I know that it's refreshing for me to be able to get an email from a company that's like somewhat normal.
Yes.
because I will say, obviously everyone's been bombarded with the COVID-19 emails. And it's just really kind of nice to get something that's not anxiety inducing.
Agreed. And that's kind of what I've been doing is I've been reaching out to my photography wedding couples, even though their weddings aren't within the next 2 months during this current epidemic. I'm still reaching out to say, like, are you guys okay? Are you healthy? Is there anything that I can help you with? And it's not like, hey, coronavirus, da, 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 da. It's more or less just like, are you guys okay? And they can then choose to respond with coronavirus verbiage or not. And they could potentially have a question wedding related or even just hypothetical or whatever the case may be. But you're creating that touch point to reach out to them and like genuinely care for them, their health, and as well as how wedding planning is going. And I think that speaks volumes, and they're going to talk about you when this current epidemic passes, and like, their friends are going to book with you. So
right.
It's all beneficial.
Right. Absolutely. And it's a cyclical thing. Alexis said, everyone's definitely craving some normalcy in everyday life at this point. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like Franzi said, it doesn't have to be salesy, but you still got to pay the bills. And nobody wants to see you close your doors because of this. It is okay to still be charging for your services. You don't need to necessarily be out photographing people right this second. But it's okay to offer other things. Like maybe you've thought about offering prints in the past and you just haven't had the time to implement it. Well, now's the time to do it. So use your time wisely, as they say in elementary school, and really be thinking about what you want in the future. I'm sure that, I know at least for me, this has definitely brought a lot of perspective around, what are the necessities? What are the luxuries? And what do I want my life to look like? Mm-hmm. If we, God forbid, have to go through something like this again, do I want to feel the way that I initially felt? I want to make sure that I'm in a place where I don't feel like that again. And I think a lot of times, a lot of our fears are wrapped around money. So making sure that you are set is not a bad thing. And I'll tell you guys, as soon as all this happened, I think Franzi was the first person that I texted, and I was like, you're probably pretty set, because I know how good she is with all this stuff, and that's why I wanted her to be on live with you guys today to talk about this, because I think for a lot of people it's a big wake-up call, like, hey, like we need to get our finances and our life in order, but where do I go and how do I do it? So this lady's got some really good answers. Definitely. I'm sorry, my son is like popping in here. Life is unpredictable. I'm on live, bud.
I'm sleeping.
Okay. Don't take those outside. Give me a second, bud.
Right now, it's super hard, like I said, to make any mass changes in your financial situation. However, like once it passes, that's when you can like really hit the ground running and like foot to pavement and really make some drastic improvements. So I know that the tips that I shared are more or less just like kind of, going over with riding the wave, I guess, at this point. But when it does settle and life does get back to normal or we get normalcy, that's when you really want to like start putting your plan in place. And I didn't share those tips or like how you're going to do that like today, because that's kind of not what Candace asked me to share about. But that's what we're learning in the Facebook group, as well as the course that's coming out, is literally taking you step by step and evaluating everything, uncovering your financial health, and then seeing like what your goals are and where you want to be and coming up with a plan to get you there, so that next time we have something like this or similar, you're prepared and finances are not a concern. It's not, like I said, it's not, can I buy groceries? It's more or less like, are they available? You have the money and you can buy what you need to buy, but like your home front is taken care of. So I know the last few weeks for my husband and I, we haven't stressed about money because we're good in that respect. So we just knocked off one stressor because of that. So.
Yeah, and this isn't about not enjoying life and like not being able to spend money to do things. It's not.
I went to Europe for 3 weeks. That's fun.
Yeah. We went to Charleston and had a great time at the Rise conference. Like we were able to do those things, and we
You've
explored.
been to Iceland?
Yes, you went to Iceland. Yes, you did.
So, I mean, there's still, it's not, I hate when people think like, oh my God, it's a financial course. They're going to tell me I can't spend any money. That is not what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to have you decide how much money you're going to spend in all of the areas that you want to spend money in, but you create your budget. I know that's a bad word too, but it will literally help you reach your goals that much faster.
Right.
It's kind of like you have a goal, but you don't have a plan, so you're probably never going to get to the goal. But if you have that plan, you work that plan and you are going to reach and exceed that goal.
Well, and you're not ever going to, well, I'm just going to say this. You're not ever going to get where you need to be with your finances unless you have a goal written down, tangible, in front of you. And that doesn't matter if it's, doesn't matter if it's personal or business.
Correct.
If you want to get anywhere financially, if you want to make this amount of money and pay off this and do that, spending aimlessly and not paying attention to what is going out of your checking account, you will never get there. And I challenge you that if you were to go take a look, you're probably spending a lot more on things than you realize. It adds up so much faster. And like she said, she's not telling you that you can't spend money, but maybe you don't need to spend $500 a month eating out at restaurants. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't need to spend $70 a month on Infinitely Loft and then buy everything that they send you anyway. Maybe you don't. So there are choices to be made, but you have to sit down and you have to take a look at it and you have to make goals. And that's where Franzi's group is really going to help you. Guys, it's free to pop into the group. You just got to join. I have the link in the description to go in and just see what she has to teach, because she's got some pretty powerful stuff to share with you guys. And I think that this is the time, we know we've got the time to really be looking at those things, so we're not in this type of financial position again if you are in that space, which most people are. So awesome. Do you have anything else that you want to add before we say goodbye?
I don't think so. I think I said all the things.
You were
Thanks
wonderful.
for having me.
Oh my gosh, no, thank you so much for popping on here. Like, this was fantastic. All right, guys. Well, oh gosh, sorry. I almost ended the meeting without saying goodbye. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you on Monday at noon for our live Q&A. Remember, you can post any questions that you have in the group, or you can shoot them to me privately if you would prefer to do that. Thank you, Franzi, for popping on. And thank you guys
Join
for
the
being...
Facebook group.
I'm sorry, what?
Join the Facebook group for All In Finances, and email me if you have any questions, allinfinances@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye. Facebook. I don't even know where. Quit. That's really freaking hilarious. I'm not even in Facebook. Hold on.